McLeod with the Investing News Network, and here today with me is John Kaiser of Kaiser Research. Thank you for joining me today.
Charlotte, it's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Now I wanted to start off by asking you about Donald Trump. There's been a lot of uncertainty surrounding his presidency, especially since his inauguration. Can you tell me your thoughts on that?
Well, a number of policies that Trump has floated, or proposed policies such as collapsing globalization and America First type of thing, those have potentially very negative implications. Some of his tweets about China and North Korea and so on display an ignorance about the complexity of all these geopolitical situations, and if not handled correctly, could cause major geopolitical conflicts that result in supply disruptions. Other themes, such as his desire to ramp up infrastructure renewal, could have a very positive effect on the U.S. economy, provided he doesn't go on this protectionist rampage, and this could get the rest of the world, especially the emerging markets, growing again. That would be very good for metals across the board, because aggregate growth would start to climb again. And of course, if he does pursue infrastructure renewal, it will increase the U.S. debt, and it'll bring back the inflation and the gold bug narrative, which has been in the doghouse for the last 6 years because it's been so terribly wrong in its predictions about what will happen with easy money. But on the other hand, he may not be able to get any of these things going, and the prices sort of stay flat. So we really don't know, but what is clear, and I'm sensing this at the 3 conferences I have been at in the last in the past week, is there's a sense that last year was a sort of a surprise wake-up for this resource sector, and then it stalled in August, and everybody said, oh, it was a false alarm. But now we're seeing a renewed build-up. In a sense, we're ahead of a 2 to 5 year bull market, and I think we're going to see a shift back to discovery exploration, as opposed to simply feasibility demonstration on the failures of past exploration cycles, where these were hauled into the money by the substantial metal price increases in the past decade due to the super cycle dynamics of China coming on stream in a big way. So discovery exploration looks for something that works with the metal prices that we have. Mm-hmm. And if we do get good things happening so that metal prices rise from like a growing global economy, or specific metals rise because of some geopolitical accident that disrupts supply from a place that's dominant in this, so much the better.
Okay. Now, there's lots of different ways of doing discovery exploration. I'm hoping you can kind of give us a run through and give us some examples of companies that are doing each type. Do you want to start by talking about the different types that we're going to look at?
All right. There is traditional grassroots exploration, where you go out in the field and you look at rocks, or you do remote sensing techniques, geophysical surveys, looking at satellite imagery and so on, and you find something typically that's sort of sticking out of the ground. That's become much more difficult because a lot of exploration has gone on around the world, and anything significant that's outcropping, because you can see a color anomaly or so, has already been looked at, and you're not going to find stuff just waiting to be picked up. So it's going to become more undercover, looking for deeper blind deposits. Another approach is to come up with new technologies where traditional exploration methods could not see a target. And this is a very exciting area, because if you're the first to apply new exploration technology to an area, you'll be able to see stuff that nobody has ever been able to see. So we could end up seeing some very big discoveries coming from companies that use this approach. Another approach is to do a rethinking of old mining districts, that had smaller scale mines or had depleted mines, and you go in there with fresh ideas about the geology, How does it work? So that's on the district scale. And another aspect of that is to take these deposits, these optionality deposits, which don't really work at the metal prices that we have, but you rethink them. It's like, is what we see all there is ever to find in this thing? And a classic example was the Oyu Tolgoi system that Ivanhoe bought from BHP around 2000 and 2001, and it was this open pitable low-grade copper deposit which wasn't going to work at the metal prices we had then, and work a little better at what we ended up with. But Friedland went in there, got his geophysicists to work, looked all around, and discovered the Hugo Dummett zone, which is deeper, but it was several times richer and bigger than the system on which BHP had spent all its efforts. And that took the stock to $25 from around $1 and brought Rio Tinto in, and it's now a world-class underground block caving mine.
Okay. I'm going to take you back to the top, to traditional exploration. Could you give me an example of a company you like that's doing that type of discovery?
Well, I'll start with one of my best bear market picks, Probe Mines, which was taken over in early 2015 by Goldcorp for its Borden project. This was a prospect in an area which nobody had ever really found much in it, the Kapus casing structural zone. And the sort of the diss from the academic geologists was, yes, there may have been good Archean gold deposits there, but the metamorphic event that happened afterwards dispersed all the golds. All you're going to find is little dribs and drabs, no mines. But a couple prospectors, one of them, Mike Tremblay, he found this prospect, Probe optioned it, found a 5 million ounce disseminated gold deposit with about 1.2 grams, but it really wasn't going to fly at where gold ended up. But they continued to do exploration, followed the zone. The mineralization changed into a free gold quartz hosted high grade system, developed a couple of million ounces of underground developable ore, and that is what Goldcorp bought. Now what this led to was the realization that this diss against it, that's just like the way when they said, the Hemlo area was hopeless, and they found a 20 million ounce medium to high grade deposit in 1980-81. Now they're all looking at this whole region. And the junior that has caught my attention, Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp, they optioned a property called Brunswick from Mike Tremblay, a person who's very familiar with this area. And it covers what they call the Rideout Fault structure, which is believed to be a continuation of the Cadillac Larder structure with which all the Timmins, Kirkland Lake, and Val-d'Or, all those rich gold deposits are associated. So this is a grassroots play. There isn't any, there's one showing there, it's not very interesting, it's never been drilled. So Bob Middleton has gone in there and done IP surveys, he's done rock chip sampling and come up with an antimony arsenic anomaly, which is associated with this type of system. The IP surveys show a deeper, probably 100 meter deep, a sulfide zone. Is it gold bearing? That's the big question. They will be drilling 14 holes probably in March. They're doing a rights offering right now. And if they hit a high grade gold system in this thing, then you have sort of another probe on our hands, and stock's 10, 12 cents, we'll have 70 million shares fully diluted. So that's the kind of grassroots bets that are popping up all over the place with new rethinking areas with fresh ideas.
Okay, got it. Now, not every company is exploring like that. Can you give me some examples of companies that are maybe using new technology or innovative ideas like that to find new discoveries?
There are two companies that I am particularly keen about. One is a new recommendation on my part, which I do not own any shares in, San Marco Resources. Another is one that I do own shares in, Nevada Exploration Inc. Both of them are applying technologies in a way that have never been done before. In the case of San Marco, they formed an alliance with Richard Osman's Globetrotters group, and what they do is they take Aster data that's free available. It's basically, it measures the reflectivity of minerals or rocks. It was designed to be able to track environmental changes and so on, done between NASA and a Japanese entity. And what this data can show you, if you crunch it properly, is alteration systems. So what they have done is applied this to Sonora State and come up with like 1,000 sort of little shimmering images of where there's an anomaly. And an alteration system is where a hydrothermal fluids or a porphyry system has pumped the surrounding rock, hopefully deposited minerals somewhere in there, but altered the rock so it looks different from the rest of the rock that has not been the focus of fluid flow. And they teamed up with San Marco, who has expertise, databases of all the history of Sonora, and they've been going through now a series of steps, eliminating the known mines. Yes, this is a known mine. This one has hopeless problem. This is the wrong type of rocks. This will never host anything. It's altered, but it's not the kind that will ever have a copper or gold system. And they've narrowed 1,000 little shimmering targets down to about a dozen, and they're all in places that have never been looked at. And they're now there ground checking, quietly doing deals with the people in the area, staking the land, getting the access stuff done, and they'll basically be exploring potentially major epithermal gold silver systems or copper gold silver moly porphyry systems. So this is a way of finding targets. It's a remote sensing approach and discarding to get targets that nobody has ever seen, and any one of those could become a major new discovery. So this is a form of grassroots exploration that leverages technology. In the case of Nevada Exploration Inc., they've developed a way of measuring gold in groundwater. Now, the EPA and everybody measures all the other toxics in groundwater, and it's a big deal. But gold is in very, very low concentrations in parts per trillion. And it's only about a decade or so that it became possible to measure, for the assay labs to actually measure gold. So this has not been possible. It's been possible for copper, and that's been done decades ago. And they have applied this to the basins in Nevada, which are downdropped chunks of land. The gold deposits, Carlin, Cortez, they were all laid down before this basin and range topography formed. All the exploration in the past has been focused on the uplifted ranges and then nearby where they can project stuff undercover. Now they go through with a reconnaissance grid, take samples, and they're looking for anomalies of gold in the water, showing there's something hidden here. The water's flowing over it, it's dissolving it, the gold's going into solution, and they're generating targets that still require all the traditional grassroots exploration methods, but they're targets that nobody has been able to see. And so they've got several projects that they already own. They've upgraded their technology by being able to collect 3D groundwater samples and even test the bedrock and map the bedrock under the gravels. And this type of big district or regional scale reconnaissance work, this is of interest to the big guys like Goldcorp and that, because they need to find multi-million ounce rich deposits. They don't want these optionality things where they will, get in the money if gold goes to $2,000. So these types of stories I like. They're never-ending stories. Just because this one doesn't deliver, they have another one to go after. So these types of juniors, San Marco, Nevada Exploration, are the kind you want to own if we are indeed heading into this type of exploration cycle, and you want an edge over all the other juniors just banging away at outcrops that have been drilled before by others.
Right. And you did mention that some juniors, though, are going back to areas where other companies have achieved success. They're rethinking things there. Are there some companies that are doing that successfully?
One that I followed in the past and sort of lost interest in because they didn't seem to be making any headway, but they've done something new, is Adamera Minerals, which in 2012-13 refocused from diamond exploration to gold exploration in northeast Washington. And there's a number of high-grade underground replacement style mines that are largely depleting. In one area, Kinross has the Buckhorn deposit, and that's running out of ore. The mill's being shut down. They haven't done any work in the area because it's assumed, well, we found everything that there was to be found. And what Adamera has done is it's flown a VTEM survey, which is a geophysical survey that measures both the magnetic response of the rocks and electromagnetic conductivity. And they had a theory, okay, these known deposits that are now mined out, will they show up with this survey? And if they do, will similar anomalies show up that nobody has ever really looked at? And they did this last year, probably spent a total of $250,000, and lo and behold, they have 7 targets that have never been tested, and the overlook and the lane foot, only one of them doesn't show up as an EM target. So here's a geophysical approach that's looking for blind deposits where it's not obvious at the surface there's something here. Now they'll go in there with another $250,000 program, poke 2 holes into each of these targets just to see what is it like, because there's garbage rock on top. The rock on top doesn't really reveal what's underneath. So you drill these scout holes, and if they are fortunate, one of these will turn out to be maybe another overlooked deposit, million ounces of medium grade, and they could have several of these, and then Kinross, which owns the mill, would probably want to take the company over because all of a sudden this district has been revived. And this stock is cheap, 8-10 cents, and it's a classic toiling geologist junior that was almost dead a year or so ago and has turned itself around in a big way.
Okay. So to close, you've mentioned optionality a few times. Could you go over what that means again, and just mention a few companies that you think reflect optionality?
Well, optionality is sort of a phrase which refers to a gold deposit or any metal deposit whose current value is effectively zero because it costs more to get it out of the ground than you would get selling at the prevailing metal prices. But people develop arguments for why we will see higher metal prices that will make these ounces worth developing. And that started back in the late 70s with people like Doug Casey predicting, $2,000 gold and all that sort of stuff. And the whole gold bug narrative is, buy these deposits here. You only have to pay a small amount, but if gold goes to $2,000, this thing is worth an extraordinary amount. Now, a flaw in the so-called gold bug narrative is gold's supposed to go up because of inflation. And if it does, that's not really helpful because if your gold deposit doesn't work at, say, $1,200 gold, it's not going to work at $2,000 gold if, because of inflation, that's where gold is, because the providers of labor and energy and chemicals, they'll have inflated also. And that's, when you look at $400 gold in 1980 and inflation adjusted to the present, that's $1,200. So $1,200 looks like a fantastic price, but we've actually gone full circle. We've gone nowhere, which is why these deposits are still all just optionalities. Now, if we get a real price increase, like say gold going to $1,600, projects can suddenly be in the money. And a very good example is Midas Gold Corp, which has put over $100 million into the Stibnite project in Idaho, which will produce about 300,000 ounces gold and also an antimony byproduct. And the problem is at $1,200-$1,300 gold, the NPV is less than the $1 billion CapEx. So this thing will not go into production. But a mere move of like 25% for the gold price, 30% to $1,600, suddenly swells the NPV up to over $1 billion, and the project hits all the development thresholds. Now they've got 4 million ounces teed up for mining over 12 years. There's clearly more. It's a very big system. This thing will ultimately be a 10 million ounce deposit. The majors one of the majors will buy it out. It's too big a project for a single company to develop, but they raised $55 million last year so they could keep working on it. And the big obstacle is permitting. And here's where a Trump victory could be helpful. Eliminating the EPA, and that is nonsense. That's not going to happen. But dialing back some of the overkill in the permitting process could be helpful. In this case, this area was mined for tungsten and antimony during World War II. It supplied the American war effort, and they really didn't care about the environment when the goal was to bring forth the raw materials needed to fight the Nazi and Japanese threat. But now it's as a result, the whole watershed is blocked. Their plan is to restore all of this, reclaim it all, and they kind of only half-jokingly call this a reclamation project with a gold mine attached that actually funds restoring the whole salmon migratory stuff. So the anti-mining lobby has to sort of think, well, that's actually a good thing. But the world doesn't need more gold. Who cares? This is where the antimony comes in, because 76% of all antimony comes from China, mainly from one mine that is also potentially depleting. If Trump, causes some sort of disturbance in the South China Sea, and all of a sudden there's a trade embargo against China, well, America has a problem, because especially if he wants to relocate manufacturing to America, antimony is an important input for a lot of things, and we would need a domestic supply. So the potential to accelerate the permitting process is enhanced by this byproduct, of which would be like 100 million pounds, probably 200 million pounds by the time they mine it, that would be available for domestic purposes. So that's a good example of an optionality play where the work's still being done to advance it, but where we do need a lift in the gold price to bring it into the money.
Okay. Well, great. That was a really good overview of some of the different exploration strategies out there. I just wondered if you have a favorite, or is there a way that you would suggest should investors focus on one of those things, or should they really be keeping all of those things in mind?
I would say cover all the bases, place bets on these different styles. The key is to understand what is sort of the strategy behind this junior, and give yourself exposure to a number of them. One that I didn't mention is Skeena Resources, and they have what I call a hybrid optionality strategy. So they have these ounces. They've picked up these old systems that were either mined out or shut down because the gold price was too low. But instead of just sitting on them and waiting for the gold price to go up, they're doing exploration. They're going saying, where do the zones? Are there additional zones? Is there more to be found? So a company like Skeena, lots of stock outstanding, 500 million shares, trades 8-9 cents. But when you do the calculation, 500 million times, say 10 cents, that's only a $50 million valuation. And their goal is to find new ounces of gold and silver in the different projects like Snip and Idaho, Porter, that work at the metal prices that we have. And of course, if we do get an ascending gold price, this would be an example of a company that would really benefit. And because you can buy stock fairly easily because there's so much paper out, this is where when bigger audiences with bigger wallets than what's in the market now come in, they're not going to go after these tight companies which have no liquidity. They're going to come after these companies with a lot more stock out, where you can go and buy 1 million shares without disturbing the price too much.